Be prepared. Tomorrow, January 20th, Mercury breaks free from Capricorn's grip and rockets into Aquarius. And when it does, your mind is about to experience something it hasn't felt in months. This isn't just another planetary shift. This is the moment when the cosmic switchboard lights up and suddenly downloads start flooding in. Most people will feel a strange mental restlessness tomorrow, maybe some scattered thoughts, and they'll dismiss it as just another Monday. But you're about to receive transmissions that could completely rewire how you think, create, and connect with the world around you. 3 specific downloads are coming, and they're not random. They're designed for minds ready to receive them. And if you've been experiencing sudden flashes of insight lately, random aha moments that seem to come from nowhere, keep watching, because there's one specific reason why this is happening to you right now, and understanding it could change everything about how you process these incoming messages. But here's what nobody's telling you. Mercury in Aquarius doesn't knock politely. It strikes like lightning, and if you're not prepared, these downloads could overwhelm you instead of elevate you. Because tomorrow isn't just about thinking differently. It's about thinking in dimensions you didn't know existed. Your mind is about to break its own rules. Tomorrow morning, the moment Mercury crosses into Aquarius at 8:30 in the morning, something shifts. It's subtle at first, a slight electric feeling in your thoughts, like static before a storm. But then it builds. Ideas that seemed impossible yesterday suddenly feel obvious. Solutions you've been searching for appear fully formed, as if they were always there, waiting. This isn't normal Mercury energy. When Mercury enters Aquarius, it's like upgrading from dial-up to quantum computing. Your mind stops moving in straight lines and starts making connections across time, space, and possibility. You might find yourself understanding complex concepts without studying them. You might solve problems by approaching them backwards. You might even have conversations in your head that feel more real than the ones happening around you. And here's the strangest part. These aren't your thoughts in the usual sense. Mercury in Aquarius taps you into the collective mind, the field of infinite intelligence that exists beyond individual consciousness. It's like suddenly having access to a cosmic search engine where every query returns not just information, but understanding. Some people will feel this as pressure in their head, especially around the crown and third eye. Others will experience it as a humming sensation, like their brain is vibrating at a higher frequency. And for those truly attuned, it might feel like your thoughts are thinking themselves, arriving fully formed without your conscious effort. The old rules about how your mind works, they're suspended for the next 3 weeks. Linear thinking becomes spiral, logic becomes quantum, and the impossible becomes inevitable. But this is just the beginning, because the first download is already preparing to arrive. Download number 1. The innovation code will suddenly crack open. Within 48 hours of Mercury entering Aquarius, you're going to see something differently. Not just understand it, see it in a way that makes everything else look outdated. This is the innovation download, and it doesn't arrive gently. Maybe you've been working on a project that's been stuck for months. Maybe there's a problem in your life that seems to have no solution. Maybe you've been trying to create something but can't quite capture the vision. Tomorrow, that changes. The innovation download doesn't give you new information. It gives you new perspective. It's like someone suddenly hands you glasses that let you see in frequencies you couldn't perceive before. What looked like a wall becomes a door. What seemed like an ending reveals itself as a beginning. What felt impossible transforms into inevitable. But here's what makes this download different from regular inspiration. It comes with instructions, not step-by-step directions, but a deep knowing of exactly how to bring this innovation into reality. You won't just have an idea, you'll have the blueprint, the timing, and the strange confidence that comes from seeing something that doesn't exist yet, but absolutely will. This download often arrives during mundane moments. You might be brushing your teeth when suddenly you understand how to restructure your entire approach to work. You might be stuck in traffic when the solution to a relationship dynamic becomes crystal clear. You might wake up at 3 a.m. with an invention, a system, a creation so obvious you can't believe nobody's thought of it before. And they haven't. Because this download isn't coming from the past or even the present. Mercury in Aquarius pulls information from the future, from timelines where these innovations already exist. You're not creating something new. You're remembering something that hasn't happened yet. The people who receive this download often report the same strange sensation. It feels like cheating, like they've been given access to information they shouldn't have yet, like they've jumped ahead in the game and seen the answers. And in a way, they have. Because Mercury in Aquarius doesn't believe in the rules of time the way we do. Write it down when it comes, even if it seems crazy, especially if it seems crazy, because innovations that change the world always sound insane until suddenly they don't. And this download, it's meant to change something. Maybe just your world, maybe the world, but change is what it brings. Your conversations are about to get weird in the best way. Mercury rules communication, and when it enters Aquarius, the way you connect with others undergoes a complete transformation. Starting tomorrow, you might notice conversations taking unexpected turns, diving into subjects you've never discussed before, reaching depths you didn't know existed. But it goes beyond just deep talks. You'll start experiencing what can only be described as telepathic moments. You'll think of someone and they'll message you within minutes. You'll be about to say something and the other person will say it first. You'll have entire conversations through looks, through energy, through a kind of communication that exists beyond words. This isn't coincidence. Mercury in Aquarius activates the neural networks that connect us all. Suddenly, you're not just communicating with individuals, you're tapping into the collective conversation, the ongoing dialogue between all conscious beings. You might find yourself drawn to completely different people than usual, the stranger at the coffee shop who suddenly feels familiar, the online comment that sparks a friendship, the random encounter that changes your perspective on everything. These aren't random. When Mercury enters Aquarius, it rearranges our social contracts, pulling us toward the connections that will matter for what's coming next. And here's something crucial. The people who irritate you most right now, pay attention to them. Mercury in Aquarius often delivers its most important messages through the voices we least want to hear. That person whose opinion always rubbed you the wrong way might say exactly what you need to hear. That perspective you've been rejecting might contain the key to your next breakthrough. The conversations that matter most over the next 3 weeks won't be the ones you plan. They'll be the ones that ambush you, surprise you, crack you open in ways you didn't expect. They'll be the 2 a.m. discussions that reorganize your entire worldview, the text exchange that solves a problem you've had for years, the silence between words where the real communication happens. Because Mercury in Aquarius knows that the most important things can't always be said. Sometimes they have to be transmitted, and tomorrow the transmission begins. Download number 2, the pattern recognition explosion. By day 3 of Mercury in Aquarius, your brain will start doing something extraordinary. You'll begin seeing patterns everywhere, not just simple repetitions, but complex, interconnected webs of meaning that were always there, but somehow invisible until now. This is the pattern recognition download, and it's going to feel like someone just turned on the lights in a room you've been navigating in darkness. Suddenly, you'll see how that conversation from 3 months ago connects to the dream you had last night, connects to the book that fell off the shelf this morning. The randomness reveals itself as precision. The chaos shows its underlying order. You might notice it first in small ways, number sequences that keep appearing, themes that repeat across completely unrelated areas of your life, symbols that show up in dreams, in conversations, in the most unexpected places. But then it deepens. You start seeing the patterns behind the patterns, the meta-structures that organize reality itself. This isn't paranoia or magical thinking. This is your brain finally operating at the frequency where these patterns exist. Mercury in Aquarius dissolves the barriers between rational and intuitive processing, allowing you to perceive connections your linear mind would normally filter out. Some people experience this download as an overwhelming flood of synchronicities. Everything seems connected because suddenly you can see the connections. That person who reminded you of your 3rd grade teacher. There's a reason, and it's about to become relevant. That recurring dream about water. It's connected to the decision you're about to make. That song that keeps playing everywhere you go. It's not random. It's a message, and now you can decode it. The danger here is getting lost in the patterns, becoming so fascinated by the connections that you forget to act on them. Because this download isn't meant to entertain you, it's meant to guide you. These patterns are showing you something about where you're headed, about the choices that are approaching, about the timeline you're currently on, and the ones you could shift to. When this download hits, grab a notebook, start mapping the connections, draw the lines between the synchronicities, because what looks like randomness is actually a map, and that map is showing you exactly where you need to go next. But you have to be willing to follow it, even when it leads somewhere your logical mind says is impossible. The patterns you're about to see aren't just in your life, they're in the collective, in the cosmos, in the very fabric of reality itself. And once you see them, you can never fully unsee them. Your perception is about to undergo an upgrade that's permanent, because Mercury in Aquarius doesn't just show you patterns, it teaches you to think in them. Why time will start glitching around you. Here's something nobody warns you about when Mercury enters Aquarius. Time stops behaving normally, not in some metaphorical sense, in a very real, very disorienting way that's about to affect your daily experience. Tomorrow, you might sit down to work on something for just a few minutes and look up to find 3 hours have passed. Or the opposite. You'll feel like you've been doing something for hours, only to discover it's been 12 minutes. This isn't distraction or focus, this is Mercury in Aquarius literally bending your perception of time. Aquarius is the sign of the future, but not the future as a distant point, the future as a living, accessible dimension that exists parallel to now. When Mercury enters this sign, it starts pulling information across temporal boundaries. You're not just thinking about tomorrow, you're thinking from tomorrow. You're not just remembering yesterday, you're accessing yesterday as if it's still happening. You might experience what can only be called time loops, moments where you're absolutely certain you've lived this exact scene before. Not déjà vu, but something more intense, more specific. You'll know what someone's about to say. You'll reach for something before remembering you need it. You'll answer questions before they're asked. This temporal distortion peaks during Mercury's exact aspects, but the baseline shift starts tomorrow and continues for 3 weeks. Meeting times will become strangely fluid. Deadlines will feel both urgent and irrelevant. You'll accomplish a week's worth of work in an afternoon, then spend 3 days unable to do anything productive at all. And here's the key, don't fight it. Mercury in Aquarius isn't interested in your schedule. It operates on cosmic time, universal time, the kind of time where past, present, and future exist simultaneously. When you feel time speeding up, ride the wave. When it slows down, sink into the pause. Because these temporal shifts aren't random, they're aligning you with moments of maximum potential. The glitches in time are actually glimpses behind the curtain of linear reality. They're showing you that time isn't what you thought it was. And once you understand that, once you really grasp that time is negotiable, flexible, subjective, everything changes about how you create, how you plan, how you live. Some moments over the next 3 weeks will feel like they last forever. Others will pass in a blink. Pay attention to which ones stretch and which ones compress. The universe is teaching you something about what deserves your temporal investment and what's just filling space, because in Aquarian time, every moment is both infinite and instant, and tomorrow you start learning to navigate both. Download number 3, the collective consciousness merge. This is the big one, the download that changes not just how you think, but WHO thinks through you. By the end of the first week of Mercury in Aquarius, you're going to experience something that sounds like science fiction, but feels more real than anything you've experienced before. You'll have a thought, and then discover thousands of others are having the same thought at the same moment. You'll wake up with a solution to a problem you don't have, only to have someone call you that afternoon needing exactly that answer. You'll write something, create something, say something that feels like it's coming through you rather than from you. This is the collective consciousness download, and it's the signature gift of Mercury in Aquarius. Your individual mind becomes a receiver and transmitter for the group mind, the unified field of human consciousness that's always existed but is now becoming accessible, tangible, operational. It might start with small things. You'll think of an old song, then hear 3 different people mention it that day. You'll have an idea for a project, then see 5 similar projects suddenly appear online. You'll dream something specific and wake to find not the dream trending because millions had the same vision. But then it deepens. You start knowing things you have no reason to know, understanding languages you've never studied, solving problems in fields you know nothing about. It's not that you've suddenly become a genius, it's that you've gained access to the collective genius, the accumulated knowledge and wisdom of the species. This can be overwhelming. Some people report feeling like their thoughts aren't entirely their own anymore, like they're picking up broadcasts from everywhere all the time. Like the boundaries between self and other have become permeable, negotiable, maybe even optional. Here's how to work with this download rather than being overcome by it. Set clear intentions about what you want to receive. The collective consciousness is vast, infinite, containing every thought ever thought and some that haven't been thought yet. Without focus, you'll just get static. But with clear intention, you can tune into specific channels, specific information, specific innovations waiting to be born. Think of yourself as a radio tower. You're both receiving and broadcasting. What you think affects the collective. What the collective thinks affects you. This isn't metaphor. This is the mechanics of consciousness when Mercury moves through Aquarius. Your thoughts become votes in the collective decision about what reality becomes next. The next 3 weeks are going to show you something profound about the nature of mind itself, that maybe there's really only one mind experiencing itself through billions of perspectives, that your thoughts were never quite as private as you believed, that the solutions to humanity's greatest challenges already exist in the collective field, waiting for enough receivers to tune in and download them into reality. When this download fully activates, you might feel a sensation of vast expansion, like your mind suddenly extends far beyond your skull. You might feel connected to strangers, to ancestors, to future generations not yet born. You might understand, in a felt sense rather than conceptual, what mystics mean when they say all is one. But here's the practical magic. This download makes you exponentially more creative, innovative, and solution-oriented. Because you're no longer limited to your individual database of knowledge and experience. You have access to the cosmic library, the Akashic records, the morphogenetic field, whatever you want to call the place where all information lives. The hidden trigger most people will miss. Remember when I said there was a specific reason why you've been having those flashes of insight lately? Here it is. Your mind has been preparing for tomorrow. For weeks now, your neural pathways have been restructuring, creating new connections, preparing to receive what Mercury in Aquarius wants to deliver. Those random aha moments, they were test signals, your consciousness checking if the receiver was properly configured. The strange dreams, the unexpected insights, the moments where you knew something without knowing how you knew it, all preparation for the full activation that begins tomorrow. But here's what determines whether you receive all 3 downloads or miss them entirely: your willingness to think impossible thoughts. Mercury in Aquarius doesn't deliver its gifts to minds that insist on staying within the boundaries of the known. It comes for the rebels, the visionaries, the ones willing to think thoughts that haven't been thought before. The trigger that activates these downloads isn't meditation, though that helps. It's not ritual, though that can focus intention. The trigger is a specific state of consciousness, one where you're simultaneously skeptical and open, grounded and expansive, individual and collective. It's the state where you can hold paradox without needing resolution, where you can think 6 impossible things before breakfast and have room for more. Tomorrow morning, when Mercury crosses into Aquarius, pay attention to your first thought. That thought, however random it seems, is your activation code. It's the frequency your consciousness has chosen to receive these downloads. Write it down. Remember it. Because over the next 3 weeks that thought will evolve, expand, and eventually reveal why your mind chose it as your entry point into the Aquarian field. Some of you will wake up tomorrow feeling like you've had an electrical upgrade overnight. Others will notice the shift gradually over the coming days. But all of you who are reading this, who were drawn to this message, are configured to receive something from this transit. The very fact that you're here now preparing means your consciousness is ready for what's coming. The 3 downloads aren't separate. They're 3 aspects of one massive upgrade to human consciousness that Mercury in Aquarius facilitates. The innovation download breaks you free from old thinking. The pattern recognition download shows you how reality actually operates. The collective consciousness download connects you to the source of all innovation and pattern. Together they create a new kind of mind, not better or worse than before, but operating in dimensions that were previously inaccessible. A mind that can think around corners, through time, across boundaries that yesterday seemed absolute. Tomorrow begins a 3-week window where the impossible becomes inevitable, where thoughts you think can change collective reality, where innovations that don't exist yet start broadcasting their blueprints to anyone ready to receive them. The question isn't whether you'll receive these downloads. If you've made it this far, you're already configured for reception. The question is what you'll do with them. Because Mercury in Aquarius doesn't just want to upgrade your mind, it wants to upgrade reality through your mind. It wants to use your consciousness as a portal for futures that are trying to be born. The static you might feel tomorrow morning? That's not interference, that's the sound of your mind switching to a broader bandwidth, the confusion that might arise as old thought patterns dissolve. That's not breakdown, that's breakthrough. The sense that reality itself is more fluid than you believed. That's not illusion, that's clarity. Because Mercury in Aquarius reveals something profound. Consciousness isn't produced by the brain. Consciousness uses the brain. And tomorrow, it's about to use yours in ways you didn't know were possible. The downloads are coming, the cosmic switchboard is lighting up, and your mind, your beautiful, rebellious, ready mind, is about to become a receiver for transmissions that could change everything. Not just for you, but for the collective consciousness you're about to discover you've always been part of. The future isn't coming. The future is calling, broadcasting, transmitting its secrets to anyone with the right frequency to receive them. And tomorrow, Mercury in Aquarius hands you the dial. If you're still watching, I'd like to thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed the content and want to see more, please consider clicking the subscribe button. Your support is very appreciated. Feel free to share your experiences or thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, take care and subscribe for more insightful content.